اينشتاين بيقول التعليم مفهوش ملل، حط نفسك مكاني هتفقد الامل. ملينا المدرسة ونظام صب وكب، شرح طول الوقت عمل لنا دروب. يا استاذنا عقلي مش سبونج بوب، يشرب المعلومة وبعديها يكب. هنا في نوسكول طلعنا من الدروب، لعب مرح تفاعلات هتعجبك يا بوب.
نوسكول أكاديمي. Simply learn different.
Good morning, my dear students, and how are you today? I hope everybody is good. This is Muhammad. I'm going to be your English teacher. English is very fun and enjoyable. Let's study it together. Let me ask you a question before we start. Have you had your breakfast? Yeah, I'm asking this question to make sure that you have nothing to do except studying, of course. Well, today I woke up and I had 2 coffees with my wife, so I'm in a very good mood, as you can see. Let me ask you, do you like coffees? Of course, everybody does like coffee. Coffee tastes very well. Coffee tastes delicious, brilliant. If you start your day by drinking coffee, you will always have a good day. Stop talking about coffee and breakfast and let's get to work. Welcome back to school again. It's time to study English, grammar. Unfortunately, many students, when they hear the word grammar, they feel like awful, yucky. I don't know why. However, grammar is much more fun, more than you can imagine. But today, we have if conditionals. Oh, I see what you're doing. Don't worry, it will be very easy and fun. It's like watching television. I promise you this. Just follow me and let's keep practicing together. You know, of course, grammar, when we speak about the past time, actions that happen in the past, or the present time, when any action happens at the present time, or in the future, when the action is going to be happen, this is called grammar. And of course, it's time to study grammar together, unfortunately. But let's go. You can do it. Believe me, let's work together. This is what people do when they hear the word grammar. Throwing away all the grammar rules. I don't know why. However, with English in mind, it's very fun. It's just like watching television. You will learn grammar easily by practicing. So we don't have to follow the old way of teaching, the old way of learning, the old school way of writing in a board and blah 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 and this kind of stuff. No, it's easy, it's fun, believe me. Let's start. After I explain Yamin Ba'azim, if you do any mistakes, there will be a punishment for all of you. Are you ready? Yes? I hear you all say yes. Let's get your tools needed. What we need today, of course, pen and pencil and dictionary, and we need a laptop, and of course, we need a notebook. Let me tell you our objectives for today. At the end of this lesson, all students must be able to define new vocabulary. Of course, every class we have new vocabulary to study. Number 2, you have to form if conditional and know the difference between the first, the second, and the third conditionals. And we have some key words for today. Run a country, vote, election, issue. I believe all these words is about, yes, can you tell me? Of course, it's about politics. Oh, I don't like to speak about politics too much, and I don't like to speak about football. You can talk to me about reading, but I don't like football, I don't like politics, unfortunately. Are you a fan of football team? Yes? Okay, you can tell me later. Let's start to work. Let me ask you a question first before we start. What will you do if you win the lottery? What will you do if you win the lottery? Wow, interesting, brilliant. For me, I'm going to buy a Ferrari because it's luxurious, it's very fast. Huh? Sorry? I hear some students asking me, what is the lottery? Really? You don't know? Let me tell you, lottery is like a gambling, cards, a competition in America. If you win the lottery, you win $1,000,000. Interesting, huh? Interesting. So now tell me, if you win the lottery, what are you going to do? Yeah, think, because it's a big amount of money, of course. You're going to buy a new house and you're going to invest your money. Brilliant idea. Okay. Do you have like any projects you would like to run? Yes? Okay. After this class finish, you can tell me later. Let's not go away from working. Don't be lazy. Let's get back to work again. So, in my question, what will you do if you win the lottery? How many actions in this question? What will you do if you win the lottery? So we have two actions. Number one, you have to win the lottery. Number two, what will you do with this amount of money? So two actions. Let me ask you, if you win the lottery, which tense is this? When? Yeah, infinitive form, remember? Of course, it's a present simple tense. If you win the lottery, present, what will you do? Future. So we have two actions, in a present and in the future. But which action must happen first? The one in the present or the one in the future? Of course, it is the one in the present. To make it easy for you, now you go to school. You have to study for your exams. If you study present simple, you will pass your exams. If you study, you will pass your exams. So two actions. The first one in the present, if you study, and the second one in the future, you will pass your exams. Unfortunately, if you, what is the negative of the present simple? We use okay, not what? Don't. Excellent. So if you don't study, what will happen in the future? You will not pass your exam. So if the action in the present happen, in the future will happen. As a result, if the present action doesn't happen, in the future, of course, it doesn't happen. So what is the form of the first conditional of if? As we said, it has two actions, one in the present and one in the future. So we have present simple, and the other action, it will be in the future simple. So in a present simple, we always use the verb in the infinitive with the subject I, we, you, and they. For example, I play, we play, you play, they play. But he, she, it plays. In the future, we use the future form will plus the verb in the infinitive. For example, tomorrow I will go to school. I will go to school. Do you like school? Yeah, me too. I like school. But I like to come to school as a teacher, not as a student. When I was a student, I didn't like the school so much because I used to wake up early in the morning at about 6:30 in the morning. That was horrible. Now, actually, I wake up more earlier even, so I hate the school more. But let's get back to work. So, present, future. If you study, you will pass. If you don't study, you will not pass your exams. Easy? Easy enough. Can you give me more examples? Yes, you over there. If the weather is nice, I will go out. So the weather must be nice, then you will go out. But if the weather isn't nice, you will not go out. Brilliant. Another example. Yes, you. If you train hard, you will win the match. Excellent. But if you don't train hard, you will not win the match. Before we start explaining, as you can see in front of you on the screen, I want you to scan this QR code and watch this video. After that, we will get back together again to see what did you learn in this video and discuss it together. So I'll give you some time to watch the video. You have 2 minutes. Watch the video, finish it, and then get back to me. Before I explain, I will ask you first, what did you learn from this video? And I believe you can guess what is this video about. Of course, it's about if conditionals. Take your time, take 2 minutes, watch the video. I'm here waiting for you. See you soon, every students. Goodbye for now. Welcome back, every students, again. I believe you all watched the video. Yes, you. Tell me, what did you learn from this video? Exactly. The if has 2 actions. Excellent. You, over there, can you give me an example? If it rains today, I will not go out. Okay, excellent. You, tell me, what did you learn? The form of if of the first conditional. First action, second action, the first action in the present, the second action in the future. Very good, brilliant. Let's get to work together and let me tell you more about if. Let's move together and see the second condition. The second condition. Actually, it's an imaginary story. In the first condition, I said, if I win the lottery, I will do 1, 2, 3. In the second condition, it's a bit different from the first because it's an imaginary situation. How? Let me tell you. I'm sitting with myself and I'm thinking, like, I need more money. And I'm talking to myself. If I won the lottery, I would buy a new house. If I won the lottery, I would buy a new house. Do I win the lottery? Of course not. Will I buy a new house? Of course not. So I didn't win the lottery and I didn't buy a new house because I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money, unfortunately. Everybody doesn't have enough money, so it's normal. That's life. Let's continue. So, if I won, I would buy. The verb won, in which tense? The verb won, in which tense? When, won? Yeah, it's past simple. On the other action, I would buy a new house. Can I buy the house? Of course not, because I don't. No, not don't, because this is not the present. The present in the first conditional, but this is the past. How to negate the past simple? If I didn't. So let's see more examples about the second conditional of if. This example to all of you. If I studied my lessons, if I studied, this is the past simple, study, studied. If I studied, what would happen, not what will happen, because this is not the future. We are talking about an imaginary situation, as we said. So I would pass my exams. I would pass my exams, which means I didn't study and I didn't pass my exams. So past simple, would plus infinitive. Past simple, would plus infinitive. If I trained hard, I would win the match. Does it mean I trained hard? No. Does it mean I won the match? No. So I didn't train, I didn't win the match. Can you give me more examples? Yes, you are the one who's sleeping over there. I can see you. Tell me. If I, I'm listening to you. Yes, brilliant. If I didn't wake up early, I wouldn't catch the train. Excellent. If I didn't wake up early, I wouldn't catch the train. Another example, let me tell you that you go to work and you're doing a great job. You're very active, clever, smart, hard worker. So if you weren't so committed, you wouldn't be the man for the job. So I want all of you to be committed to your studying lesson and study hard, and I hope everybody will pass your exams. Okay, so let's continue. Another uses of second conditional of if. For example, you have a problem. You have a problem, and you come to me as your teacher and you're asking me, what can you do in this situation? What can you do in this situation? You told me your problem and you're telling me, teacher, please help me. I need your help. What would I do in this situation? And I know what happened and I have a solution for this problem. So I'm going to tell you, but how? I'm going to give you an advice. If I were you, I would do blah 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 blah. So again, and don't be confused because this is a little bit tricky. As you know, in English language, we always say I was. For example, I was at home yesterday. She was in the club last week. We always say I was, but in a second conditional of if, we say I were. If I were you, I would do this. Whatever this. For example, you have a problem that you didn't pass your exam, and I'm telling you, if I were you, I would study harder. So everybody study hard and pass your exam. Let's move to the third conditional of F.
ولأن شرب المية بيساعد على التركيز، دوس بوز وروح اشرب مية وتعال بسرعة، ما تتأخرش.
The third conditional of F. It's also about imaginary situation in the past, but it has a little bit complicated form, because we use the past perfect and on the other action would have and the past participle of the verb. Can somebody remind me what is the past participle of the verb? Yes, it is the third form of the verb. For example, go, went, gone, see, saw, seen, watched. Excellent. And as you know, of course, we don't have to go through this for a long time. The verb divided to two parts, regular verb and irregular verb. Regular verb, the end with ed. Irregular verb, when the verb change completely or remain as it is. For example, cut. So cut, this one is the third form of the verb. Let's see the form of the third conditional of if. If I had studied, this is the past perfect, had plus past participle. If I had studied hard, I would have passed my exams. If I had trained well, I would have won the match. It's a little bit complicated, but it's fun because in real life, usually American, British, Australian, Canadian, they don't use the third conditional of if a lot. So we need to focus more on the first and on a second while you're speaking. Don't make perfection paralyze you and just go. Free yourself and speak English very well. Enough information, enough. No, it's not enough. It's not enough. We will have to do a little practice. As you know, practice makes perfect. Sorry? You don't know the meaning of practice makes perfect? Well, you keep practicing, you will be perfect. For example, keep practicing speaking English, and at the end, you will speak English like a native speaker. So let's do a practice together. Here, there is a QR code in front of you in the screen. What I want you to do is scan this code and enter the quiz on it. And don't forget DIY. What's DIY? It's strange. It is do it yourself. Do not cheat. Finish the exam and then I'm here waiting for you, and let's get back together again. See you soon. Goodbye for now. Welcome back, my dear students. I hope you did well in the tests. If you studied hard, you would pass the test, which means, did you pass? Of course not. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know that all of you are very clever, and I'm sure you all pass your test with a high mark, with a full mark. So now let's move to time for listening, because listening is one of the most important skills in English language. You remember when you were a little kid and you start to listen to native language that your parents were talking, and you start to elicit the language. Let me ask you a question. When you were a baby, did you read any books? Did you study? Did you do anything? Nothing. You just listen to the language, and you elicit the language, and you start to speak. You start to imitate. Imitate, it means to say as your parent saying, and that's it. You learn, and you learn to speak your native language. This is the way we have to practice English. We have to elicit the language, not only learn, not only study. So listening is one of the most important skills to practice the language. So I want you to go back to your book and listen and do this exercise. Listen to radio talk show and track the correct boxes. Okay? After that, get back to me again. And always remember, don't try to be perfect, but always do your best. This is the final practice we have with you today, because as we said, practice makes perfect. You see the QR code in front of you on the screen. I want you to scan it and do the quiz, and then get back to me again. Welcome back, my dear students. I hope you did the test and you get a high mark. So today's lesson was about if conditional. As we said, we have 3 types of if. Actually, there are 4. The zero conditional, first, second, third. But today, our main focus was the first, the second, and the third. So the conclusion of this lesson is define new vocab, like of course, result, and action. First action, second action as a result of this and that, and so on. Number 2, form if conditional and apply if in your daily speech. That's all we have for today, and I hope you enjoyed your lesson. This is the next lesson vocab in front of you on the screen. Read it carefully, prepare it at home, get the meaning, elicit the meaning. Next lesson I will ask you before we start. I hope you enjoyed your lesson, and I will see you next time. And finally, we are done. Goodbye, my dear students.
نتمنى من كل قلبنا الحصة تكون عجبتك، وبنقول لك ما تنساش تحل الكويز اللي في المصادر، وكمان تقيم الحصة تحت في التعليقات. منتظرينك في اللايف في حفظ الله.